Okay, so just another update. I'm just going to do this slightly differently. I want to also do export mode, but I tried to do export mode with the cable, the USB cable plugged in. Now it's interesting because the USB cable, what it will normally do is it allow you MIDI control, so it'll allow you to control record box in performance mode. So I mean, it's not in performance mode at the moment because I've got a track on here, but I could pick a track and then, as you saw me in an earlier video. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to experiment just to see about so this cable, I'm not in Wi-Fi, okay, so I've got the cable connected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if link mode comes up. So I'm going to put myself into export mode, which a lot of the time I actually use export mode. And mainly before, when I was using the RX3, the XZ, I was using export mode. And I'm not averse to using the performance mode, because, you know, it's a great mode and it allows you to do some add effects and so on, but effectively this actually works slightly different in that the effects are controlled from the laptop as well, source, if you're using effects, whereas if you're playing straight off of this, then I think essentially what you can do is you can then select either master or both. So what I've been doing is I've been setting it at master because it makes it the same, so I can actually set it up. I like spiral, it's just that type of nice disco-y swirly effect. Right, okay, so what I'm going to show you, as I say, at the moment I have got the cable connected. It's in export mode, but there is no link. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the fact that if I now turn on Wi-Fi, okay, so turning Wi-Fi on, so there's no internet connection, and then it will come up with area 51. There you go. So that's now there. But what I want you to see over here, it does take a little bit of time. So it looks like the link only works. There you go. Link. It only works. And I'm just going to do this on the source for a second just to prove it's there. Okay. It says it's software control at the moment, but I'm now going to click on link. And what I'll find now, if I do this, it's saying software control. If I just go back to waveform for a minute, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick Jupiter and APX and I'm going to drop it in there. Now it is loading, but we're going across Wi-Fi now. So there you go. So essentially, you notice this as well. This is slightly, it's not fully blue. So what's happening, or what it was happening, I think I've just unloaded the track, but that's my fault. I just think I've just nudged the track. So if I do that again, loading the track in there, there you go. So it is, yeah, I think I just unloaded it. So you'll see that D is flashing. Oh, that's interesting. It's kicked it out. So this is the thing about early adopter stuff. All right, let's just pick DPV. And the dub, just going to drop it in here. Let's see what happens. And bearing in mind, I'm dragging it across. Okay, so it says it's putting these in. It's that's it. Look, see that, it says cannot play, some player functions limited. Okay, but by the looks of it, yeah, it's put it into an emergency loop. You notice that? See that? It says emergency loop. So it's put it into an emergency loop. Yeah, I can't get it out of the emergency loop. So what's happening is, although I've actually got it across from here, and this is, bearing in mind, it's in that mode, it may be that there is so much Wi-Fi in here, you know, I've got all of these things going on in here as well, that maybe that's one of the reasons why. But it's interesting to see the emergency loop here as well. Let's just try and drag another track. I'm going to try and drag, not Jupiter this time, let's do Joys. Based on the sample of You're the Finest. And let's see what happens over here. See if it comes across. And this is the thing about the thing I noticed about Wi-Fi. You know, you have to have a completely separate network. And that's one of the things I've noticed. But I mean, it's just taken an absolute eternity. There you go. It is there. And you see what it's doing is it's actually flashing the cue points. And the reason it's flashing that is because it's just trying to pull the data from the machine, but I can still play it if needs be. So get it out of the emergency. But hello, look at that. See, cannot play track forward. So what we're seeing is that over Wi-Fi at the moment there's still some bugs. So Alpha Theta, got a bit of work to do on that. Where, you know, over a link, and it's over Wi-Fi, because what would be nice is if I could use the link, not necessarily on Wi-Fi, but using the cable as well, because sometimes where there's a lot of Wi-Fi interference, you'll notice that it will be causing some problems. So I'm going to just disconnect that. Yes. And essentially what's happened is now we've gone down that route. So what I am going to do is I'm going to see, so this is the cool thing, okay? I'm going to see if I can rescue this now, and this is what happened to me during my radio show at the weekend. Put it into performance mode. All right, at the weekend, one of the things I didn't want to do, obviously I still had a track playing. I managed to get out of this by selecting the source, going into USB, picking a particular track. Let's just pick that one. There you go, look, and then bosh, let's just put a cue point on it. That's another thing as well, colour cue points is not there, so that's another thing that they need to adopt. So the second cue point is going to be green as well. I don't quite like that. It's got to be coloured like that. You can see the one over there is, I'd like my cue points to be coloured so I know where I'm going with it, intro, outro, mix points, that sort of stuff. Right, so at the moment I'm playing off of the stick. And what I'm going to do now is I'm now going to go and do software. So let's see if I can do this and rescue software mode, software control, press load. So I'm going to load it onto there. It says either press the rotary switch, and then basically what I'm going to do now is select that track, and let's now go back. Okay, waveform. So this, interesting enough, is actually where it left off, which is actually halfway down the track, which is actually very interesting. But look, straight away, so what I've done is, you know, I've not had to reboot the device. So, you know, as much as there is bugs in the linking software at the moment, the actual software, the resolution, the running of this is nice and smooth as well. So, you know, I can't knock it. Apart from that obvious bug with in export mode, when you're using it via Wi-Fi, other than that, you know, it's pretty resilient. And as I say, I haven't had to reboot it. But you do, obviously, if you get in that situation where stuff is not working, you're going to panic, right? You will panic. You'll start to think to yourself, oh God, you know, what am I going to do? My machine, I can't talk to my machine, or I can't talk to the stick. 9 times out of 10, the sticks actually work, right? My USB drive, it's a terabyte drive. It's got near enough all the tracks that I've got on there. I just like the fact that I can search for it easier on there. Yes, I can search for it on there, but I like to search for it on here. And also, I've got access to a lot more effects on there if needs be as well. But I just felt I wanted to share that. Thought it was important to show you. And yeah, so there you go. So export mode via Wi-Fi, depending on the Wi-Fi network I'm in, I'm going to try and set up a private Wi-Fi network just between this and that. Now I've got to build a hub that's just not connected to the internet, but this will allow you to do it. But I think at the moment there are bugs, so just beware and mindful of that as well. But again, you know, I'm still really impressed. And somebody asked me about, oh, it looks plasticky. I tell you what, that's quite a heavy old lump. That's a metal top plate. There's metal chassis underneath as well. It doesn't creak. It's not a creaky box. It's not, it's solid. Yes, it's indigo or ink colour or denim colour, but you know what? I like it. It's different. And as long as I like it, I don't care. Boom. All right. Thank you. I'm Marky P, the Tech Mentalist, and hopefully this is all helping.